Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the CD Sport Podcast with me, Kerry Davis. Joining us today is the scouse runner himself, Mr. David Fitzgerald. How are you, Dave?
I'm good, thanks. I'm all good. How are you?
Very good, mate. Thank you for coming on and being my first guest of 2022.
Brilliant. Happy New Year.
Yes, and you. Do you have a good New Year and Christmas?
It was really good, yeah. Obviously, we reached the end of my challenge on New Year's Eve, so it was fantastic. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, beautiful. And for people who don't know, do you want to tell people what you did last year in the start of 2021?
Yeah, so the 1st of January 2021, I decided to start to set up a challenge, running challenge, which was to run a minimum of 5 kilometers every day for a whole year. Reason why I'd done it really was because I like to try and raise money and awareness as much as I can really. So I set up the challenge and it literally finished. I say it finished 7 days ago, but I've carried on running. So it's not finished yet.
I saw it on you, like I following you on Instagram now, and you're still going. You're like on 371 days now, yeah? Or 372?
Yeah, 372 was yesterday. And so I was going to go out today to do park run, but the weather put me off a little bit. I know I've literally ran in all kinds of weathers, but especially because there's not as much pressure as last year, I might go a bit later on.
I was literally going to ask you because we were speaking in the week, and you said you had a park run today, and I got out of bed this morning and the rain smashed on my window, and I was like, I wonder if it's like this bad in Liverpool. So you didn't end up going, did you, to the park run?
Yeah, it was horrendous, Kerry. It's been pretty bad the last couple of days, and usually when I plan my runs, I do try and plan it around the weather as much as I can. There've been some days where you just obviously get caught, in a torrential rain, downpour, or snow or whatever it is, but I do try and plan it and try and see gaps in your day. But it all depends really. If you're working, and then it's harder to plan because you've got a smaller window. But yeah, today, because obviously I don't work weekends, I've got more of a window, and I'm looking out my window now, and it's still absolutely lashing down. So
yeah, no,
I'll get to a point though where, like, obviously as the time goes on, I will have to just go out, even if it's lashing down. So
yeah, I think the year you had last year, I think you even if you have a day off today, it's not going to matter too much, is it? Yeah, like I was telling you briefly before we started going on record, but I first saw you was it last weekend on BBC Breakfast, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and find Dave on Instagram now, reach out to him, because it's the start of the year, isn't it, January, and hopefully now this will maybe motivate people to do, hit their challenges for the year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some fantastic, really kind of heartwarming messages from people, people that I don't know, to say, someone messaged me on Messenger, found my name and messaged me to say that they were a cancer survivor, and they're motivated to go out now and run. And I've had lots of different messages of different people kind of, just inspiring them to kind of go out and run, especially me. I had it a lot through the year, to be fair. Different people saying, I wanted to start a month of running or even a week of running, because sometimes it's important to not set your goals too big and too unrealistic at the beginning, because you think about it, if you set yourself a year target and you don't reach it after the first week, then you automatically go backwards. And I don't want people to do that, especially in the new year when people are setting targets now. You want to set, even if you set a big long target, break it up into really small chunks. So even if it is a year target that you're doing, break it up into, right, okay, well, can I get this day done? And then can I get the week done? And then can you get 2 weeks, and so on? And just break it up into small chunks. But yeah, the messages I've received is unbelievable. I didn't expect it, to be honest, Kerry. I didn't expect as many people to follow it and as many people to share it and donate and to give positive messages. It's been really inspiring for myself.
Yeah, and it's such an achievement what you did as well. Like I didn't even do it for charity, nothing, but I was going into my running quite hard, like the start of last year. And I thought, I'm going to do a 300k challenge in a month.
Wow.
And yeah, but I fucking, I fucking failed well, not miserably, probably like 10 days in. My knees went and everything, do you know what I mean? And I was like in agony, and like I really struggled to walk on it.
Yeah.
And but I think that's got, like you said earlier, like instead of putting these massive challenges out there for yourselves, maybe I should have started right. Maybe do, you know, well, I was comfortably doing 100k a month. Maybe I should have said, right, let's do 200k a month. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
300 straight.
That's some going at. That's pretty much 10k a day, isn't it? So
yeah,
I mean, I think it's got to be relative to the person. I mean, like obviously you got injuries, and it probably is because you're putting your body through too much, and that's why I think it's important to recognize that it is a challenge, and it's and you know, you got through 10 days. You know, that's fantastic in itself, isn't it? And I think a lot of people do a challenge or even just do a resolution, and then if you get to I don't like to call it fail, but if you don't reach their target, then it sets people back like loads. So I try to promote, you know, even if you set a target, even if you don't reach it, then okay, let's reset, let's go again, and let's try, you know, a smaller target or a more, you know, more realistic target. And because, you know, 10 days of running is incredible, isn't it? And 1 day of running is incredible. And it's just about kind of building it up slowly. And like I got injuries. I remember in around about March, I started getting a knee injury. I've had a couple of knee operations in the past anyway through football. And it started to get really painful, to the point where me and my wife were talking about it and saying, you know, I think it might be that I have to walk this for a few weeks, or I have to kind of stop it for a few days, and I think because it was early on in the challenge, it wasn't as hard mentally to kind of think about that possibility. But luckily enough, I kind of just managed my body a little bit. I kind of say I went at 6 o'clock in the morning one day, I then wouldn't go until 9 o'clock at night the following day. You know, try and give myself as much recovery time. I was obviously treating it and icing it and that type of thing. And eventually, and then I got a really good knee support as well. And then all of those things, the knee pain just went away. And then when I got round about April, May, it was phenomenal, because I was kind of, you know, like I had no pain. Well, I had pain every day in terms of like my legs aching and stuff, but in terms of the knee pain specifically, it wasn't there anymore. So that kind of gave me a bit of a boost. Yeah. Because what I was starting to do, Kerry, although I was doing this challenge, I started to do, like, every Friday, I tried to do a timed 5k and tried to get me times down as much as I could. And I think that's what put the pressure on my knee, because I was going out too fast every week, you know, that once a week. That's when the knee pain really started. So I cut that out and just concentrated then on my 5k regardless of the pace. And that's what, and again, I think that's contributed to the pain. But yeah, it was really tough at parts, like,
especially like you said, I was gonna go into like any injuries and illnesses. Obviously a year, everybody has niggles, everybody gets sick as well, you know what I mean? So was it mainly, do you have any like sickness also as well with the injury?
Luckily only twice. Now as well, I had a feeling that COVID might have been an issue at some point during the year. Now obviously the first 3 months of the challenge, we were pretty much in lockdown. Now I'm a teacher, so I was working from home, and that made it easier in the first 3 months, because I was very flexible. So I could go out on my dinner hour and get back onto my computer, and I'd be there to teach my students. Even if I was like kind of sweaty and stuff, I could get a shower later. No one was in to smell me or whatever. But that was so much more flexible, which meant it was a lot easier to plan my runs. I could say, well, I could go out at 8 o'clock in the morning, be back home at 9:15, and then on for my class. When I got back into work, it was obviously a lot harder. And then as the years gone on, I didn't have any. Well, obviously I didn't have any illnesses while we were in lockdown, because, you know, there was no mixing and stuff. Then round about, I'd done a half marathon. I'd done the Liverpool half marathon a few months ago. I think it was October. And it was fantastic. I was made up with I got under 2 hours, which I was made up with.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah, considering that although I'd ran every day, I'd not done a training plan though to get myself up to that distance. So I was absolutely made up. I wasn't going for a particular time, but I was made up to get under 2 hours. And then the day after, I got hit by a stomach bug, and it was violent. It was like really, throwing up a lot, on the toilet for ages, and I was really kind of I was drained from the half marathon anyway, but then that just kind of took it to a new level. And I remember saying to my wife, I don't know whether I can get out today, but I need to. I said I need to just go out because at that point it was October. I was thinking I can't kind of let that stop me now. No. So I went out with my wife and my daughter, and we'd done 3 kilometers. And I said I can't do any more. So my wife done the other 2 kilometers for me. I just got back in bed, and then the following day I was still rough, but I was able to do the 5K. And then the following day after that, I was absolutely fine, as if nothing had happened. It was like one of those 24-hour things. Yeah. So that was the only day. Although I got out, I didn't manage the 5K, but I was kind of, the fact that I'd done more most days anyway, I was kind of like, at least I got out, and then the other illness was around about November. I got a chest infection. Obviously testing because I have to test quite regular as a teacher anyway. No COVID, just a bad chest infection, a bad kind of cough, chest, breathlessness and that type of thing, and for about a week. And that was tough because obviously, as you know yourself, like running, you rely on your lungs, don't you? So it was just a case of getting through them. It was really, really tough. But apart from that, luckily I was fine other than those 2 things.
Yeah, and like that's not too bad considering then, really, is it? Like two sicknesses throughout the year, a lot of people are very sick all the time. And you were saying that your wife and was it your daughter came with you when you were sick, was it?
Yeah, I mean, my daughter's come with me quite a few times. She goes on her bike. She's only 7.
Yeah, nice.
She goes on her bike, and she does. She can fly around in my route quite quick. So it's hard catching her up, to be honest. But and my wife done, say over 100 runs with me throughout the year.
Oh wow.
Which was phenomenal.
That's what I was going to ask as well. Did you have your wife, your daughter, do you have any other friends say, right, come on, Dave, I'll come with you today, if you were feeling a bit low, and say, right.
Yeah, absolutely, Kerry. I mean, at the start of the challenge, I was in my mind and knew I had to do it. It was my challenge. I couldn't put any pressure on anyone to come with me. I knew I had to do every day on my own. So having that mindset helped a little bit, I think, because then anything else was a bonus. And then my wife came with me quite a few times, especially in lockdown. And then we weren't allowed to run with anyone other than your household.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So the first few months, it was either me and my wife, me and my daughter, and that was good. It was fun, but I'd done a lot of them on my own as well, and it was fine. And then I remember my cousin, the day that you're allowed to run with one other person in your household. My cousin came with me, Alex, and it was brilliant because again, it was somebody different. We went a different route. It was, and then as it went on, as the more people were allowed to run or to go out and exercise, there was lots of people that got involved. Midsummer, I was running with 20-30 people.
Wow.
And it was fantastic. Like every Wednesday we used to meet different parks around Liverpool. So it was like Nugent Park, Croxteth Park, or Sefton Park, and that type of thing. And we'd just meet every Wednesday, and you could go as fast or as slow as you want. We'd just kind of loop back if people were struggling, or we'd say, right, meet us at this point. And it was brilliant because it was just all abilities coming together on that Wednesday, having a little chat, socialising a little bit, and then getting out for the run. And that kind of was a big boost because it was something to look forward to every Wednesday. So that definitely helped.
It's kind of like you said, some people might go to the bloody pub and drink with their mates to catch up, but what you're doing is a lot better, isn't it? You keep, running, keeping fit. And I know you had your challenge, but for other people, who didn't have a challenge and they're running with you, it's good for them too, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes that's hard because the people that come with me are obviously really fresh. because they're not running a couple of days or they've had a few days off and that type of thing. And in my mind, a lot of the time when I was running with someone who was a decent runner, I would always try and keep up with them, even though we were chatting and stuff. It's one of them. I don't know whether you have the same thing, kind of mentally. You just want to kind of be on par.
Of course, yeah.
And so, like, some of the days, like, I ran with my brother-in-law, who's a good runner. But he was fresh as anything. And then we went out, and it was a quick pace, but I had to kind of maintain it to just make sure I was like, I don't know, just keeping up in that. And that happened a few times, with people that I ran with. But I think it's good because it pushes you, doesn't it? Tests you and challenges yourself.
Of course it does, yeah. And like you say, it's pulling you along too, isn't it? A little bit when you're doing it. Like, did you on your routes as well? Did you try and change them up like every so often so you're not stuck on the same track every day? Yeah.
Yeah. I had one main route that I would do. I called it my safety route. Like when there was days when when mentally you're just not there and you just can't be bothered. I knew, like, I could already picture it in my head, the route I'd do and the rough time I'd get. And, when I used to track it on me, I do track it on my phone, on my Nike app, and I put my earphones in and it tells you every kilometre that you're hitting. And I'd know, even without the app, I'd know where a kilometre was and 2K and 3K and 4K and so on. And so that was like kind of a safety route I used to call it. And like when I weren't feeling too good or most of the runs, I'd do that route. But then it was really important to kind of mix it up with different people and different routes because it became interesting and more interesting, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I've ran in London, I've ran in Newcastle, and then we went on holiday in the summer, me and my wife and my daughter, to Scotland. We'd done a tour of Scotland.
Beautiful.
Went to like loads of different cities, and I ran in a different city every day, and that was phenomenal. Because it was like, although like Scotland is the hilliest place in the world, I think it's like no matter which direction you go in, there's a big massive hill. So so that was tough, but it was really good because it was brand new. It was totally different.
You didn't come across to Wales then, did you, from Liverpool?
No, do you know what? When I got to, because I ran in Edinburgh and ran in London, near the end of the year, I wanted to run in Cardiff, and then I wanted to get over to Belfast. And it was just one of them. I thought, that would be brilliant if during my challenge I could run in every capital.
All the countries, isn't it? Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I ran in Chester, so.
Oh yeah.
So although it's not, but yeah, it's Wales, isn't it? So
beautiful. And I want to ask you as well. Tell us how you and Jamie Carragher got running together then.
That was like I'd say 1,000,000 to 1 chance. It was phenomenal. It's totally unexpected. Didn't expect it one bit. So basically, I'll set the scene. Me auntie who lives in Southport, she said, "Oh, I want to get in. I want to come for a run with you because I haven't been all year with you, and I want to get out with you." So we decided to meet halfway. So halfway between Liverpool and Southport is Crosby. Right. So we said, right, we meet at Crosby, 11 o'clock, and I'll meet you in this car park. So anyway, driving to the car park, and who's standing there in the car park? It's Jamie Carragher. I'm like, try to be calm, not kind of be a super fan and waving and all that. Yeah. So I pulled up and I just got out, and at first I just said, "Can I get a picture with you?" And he said, "Yeah." And he was so good, so kind, and people say don't meet your heroes, but he was fantastic. Got a picture, and then he said to me, "Are you here to run with us?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm here to run with my auntie." And he went, "Oh right, okay." I went, "What are you doing?" And then as I said that, a lad got out the car in a full Liverpool kit with like Santa hat on, Santa beard and that, and he was called Full Kit Santa.
Right. Yeah.
And Jamie Carragher said, "Oh, this fella's doing 5K every day for a month in December, and I'm here to just he's doing it for a local charity, Cash for Kids, and I'm running with him." I went, "Oh, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing 5K every day for a year." And I didn't mean it to sound like that. Carragher just went, "Oh, you might as well get back in the car, you mate. You've done nothing."
Yeah.
It was just like we had a little bit of a joke, and then he said, that was it then. And then I seen them, they were doing like an Instagram live post, I think. So I thought, oh, I'm not pestering them, I'll just leave them be. And next minute he just shouts me over. He says, Scouse, because I had my Scouse runner top on. He went, Scouse runner, get over here. Get involved in that. And then he said, he asked me, you know, why am I doing this challenge and that, and I told him. And then he said, do you want to run with us? I was like, and at first I said to my auntie, I said, I'll stay with you, because that I'd meant to run with you. And she went, no, you won't have this opportunity again. Go and run with him. So I ran with him, and it was just the best 5K of the year by far.
Brilliant. And like you say, you're obviously a massive Liverpool fan, then,
yeah.
And like I say, Carragher is like a legend, isn't he? For Liverpool, you know.
And I said to him, you know, during the run, we just talked about, you know, just normal football, everyday things. It was great. And I said to him at the end, I said, like, you're one of my idols, like, you know, you're phenomenal. And he messaged me on New Year's Eve, to be honest, and tagged me in a post and stuff, and said, I said, oh, thanks very much, you're a legend of mine. And he said, no, you're the legend, you know, for what you're doing. And just for him to take the time out to kind of message and stuff like that, it was just, you know, amazing.
Wow, yeah, it's awesome. And I probably should have mentioned at the start, but do you want to mention to the people why you did the run as well? You did it for the Arden Foundation and Cancer Research, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the Arden Foundation, for people who don't know, a local charity. It was set up in the worst of circumstances, to be honest. So their lad got stabbed and killed in November 2017 in Prescott, which is a little town outside or close to Liverpool. And you know, considering what they went through, you know, I couldn't imagine losing a daughter or a son or whatever. They didn't just kind of stop. They set up a foundation in his name, and the work that they do is phenomenal. So they do a lot of knife crime awareness talks in schools, trying to kind of get the message out there to young people to say, well, you don't need to carry knives. You know, the consequences of carrying knives, the devastation that can happen to a family like them. So they do a lot of that work in the community. They also kind of put fundraising events on. They just pour all the money back into the community. So they do a lot of, like, we do like a pensioners party once a year. So, you know, a lot of pensioners around Prescott community get to go to a party for free. There's entertainment, there's food, there's, you know, stuff on. We were meant to do one in December, but because of the COVID spike, and because obviously they're a lot more vulnerable, we decided not to, for safety reasons. But we're going to put one on in a few months. But yeah, everything that they do, they're just unbelievable. Like, I mean, I never met Adam, unfortunately, but they came into my college to do a talk, and that's how I got to meet them. And since then, I've just got closer and closer, and now I'm a part of the foundation. Now I'm a committee member and stuff, and I just raise money, or I'll do as much as I can for them. So they're phenomenal. And then Cancer Research UK, my dad, my auntie, and, you know, hundreds, thousands of other people around the country as well have obviously been affected by cancer. Luckily, my dad and my auntie have both survived. My dad survived cancer 3 times, and mostly because of the work that Cancer Research do. So I always raise money for Cancer Research every year when I can. Like, I done my first marathon a couple of years ago. I think it was 2018, Liverpool Marathon, which was fantastic. Raised money for them. And then the year after, I done an ultra marathon.
Wow.
Which was 100 kilometers going from London to Brighton, which was just crazy. And me and my mate done that in a day, and raised money again for Cancer Research. So that's always been close to me. And then because the pandemic hit, and I was thinking, I don't want to do another ultra marathon. That was grueling. That was really tough. I'm glad I'd done it, but it was just too much.
100 kilometers is London or Brighton, 100k. I couldn't imagine, you know. Most I've run in one hits 30k, and I was like, wrecked. Yeah, that's I know it's still a lot, but 100k, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
It was like I said, that the experience was not something I'll never forget. But in terms of like, I wouldn't even try and put myself through that again.
No.
You know what I mean? It was just crazy. And then the challenge came about was, I don't know what, I'm sure you're the same. When you go for a run, you think of the most random things, which is good. I think it's so good like that because, you know, for your mental health and that, you know, just getting out and clearing your head and thinking about all kinds of random stuff, it's really good for you. It helps you reset. And I was just out on a run before Christmas, and I said, just saying to myself, you know, what can I do to try and, you know, not do so much in one day, but try and maximize it out for a year, and that's what I come out with. I couldn't believe it, to be fair.
And I want to say as well, like obviously you did it the year run. That was a minimum of 5K every day. Some days you were doing more Ks, and you were doing like 10K. Like say you did half marathons as well.
Yeah.
You know, that was just minimum 5K.
Yeah. So again, at first I thought I'll be going back to work in the January. So in my head, I was thinking, well, a lot of these runs when the weather's bad will be on a treadmill.
Right. Yeah.
Because you know we've got a gym in work. So I thought, you know, if it's absolutely lashing down or it's, you know, snowing or whatever, it's unsafe, icy and that type of thing, I can just get on the treadmill. And I didn't want to do many treadmill runs, but I thought the option's there. But because we were in lockdown, like I said, that option weren't even there. Didn't even have access to a treadmill. So the first 3 months was just outside every day.
Yeah.
And then when I went back to work, I thought, well, I want to keep it that way now. I don't want to go and I want to experience the weather every day. And I thought that's another good thing for your mental health, and it's also kind of a challenge in itself to make sure you get out there regardless of the weather. So that was the, you know, the thought behind that one. Like,
definitely, I think being amongst the elements is better too, isn't it? I hate treadmill running. I do personally.
Yeah, it can be really boring. I mean, I think when you're starting out, it's really good because, you know, you can just kind of set yourself a smaller pace, smaller goal and that. But once you're doing like 5K, 10K, anything more than that, you know, it's absolutely grueling, isn't it? But I think I ended up on overall, I ended up on 6.8K a day.
On the out, right.
On average, yeah.
Did you also? So was the biggest run in a day half marathon, or did you get a marathon in? Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I didn't do any more than half, and that was and at the start of the year, I was doing kind of regularly, once every kind of 2 weeks, I'd do more than 10K, so it might be 12, 13K, 14K. And I think that the biggest one before my half marathon was 17K, but that was back in February. So I'd done the half marathon in October, and I hadn't done anything over 10K for months and months. So that's why it was really tough, that half marathon.
Brilliant. No, you're an inspiration, Dave. Fair play to do that. Like it's amazing. And have you got any like plans this year now? Any challenges? I know you're still running, but I've just set 3 goals. Yeah. 3 not simple goals, but just to get me times to 3 events down. So for 5K, I want to get down to 22 minutes if I can. For 10K, I want to get under 50 minutes. And for a half marathon, I want to get under 1 hour, 50 minutes. So nice. I want to try and, like, if I can, do my speed sessions now. Because there's no pressure. If there's ever a day that I can't go out, I won't go out. But while I'm feeling fit and healthy, I will go out every day. But yeah, they're my 3 goals this year. Beautiful. And I wanted to ask you too, do you drink alcohol? Do you drink beer? You do, yeah?
Do drink a lot of beer, yeah.
I was going to say, how does getting up hungover going running? Was that hard as well? I wanted to ask you about that, actually.
Yeah, like I do. I really like a drink. I like, you know, going out and stuff and having a good time. There was some days that were really, really tough getting up and over. You know, sometimes on them days I would usually leave it till 6, 7 o'clock at night.
All right, yeah.
But then that's tough because I think it's easier getting out early and getting it done. I don't know how you feel, but I think as the day goes on, the time's ticking. It's like, oh, I'll go out at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock comes, or I'll go out at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock comes, and it just kind of eats away. Yeah. So, but on the hungover days were definitely the toughest.
As I say, like you said, and like, as the time gets on, you just procrastinate. You know, like you say, it goes 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, it's the same ordeal. But yeah, like back to the drinking as well. Like I couldn't think of any. If I have a bender, I ain't getting off the couch. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, no way, man. I was thinking that when I was in the shower earlier, I was like, oh, I'd have to ask Dave. I wonder if he drinks, and if he does, it must be really hard to get up going running. But like you say, I think I read online. You wore the t-shirt every day, did you? The foundation and the like that was motivated, didn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And you know, there wasn't. I mean, I didn't get the shirt until I think it was around February, the start of February. The foundation gave me a few shirts, and then we got another a different design round about October. So we had about 4 or 5 shirts, and most days I was wearing them. There was obviously the odd couple of days where I couldn't. But yeah, even with the shirt or without the shirt, it was always in my mind, Adam, my dad and my auntie, those 3 reasons all the time. And that helped in terms of like when it was tough and you had to dig in, they were like the kind of the inspiration. So it's the same for anybody, you know, if you start running or, you know, you're doing something that's challenging, think of the reasons why you're doing it. Think of, you know, what you're doing it for.
Brilliant. And is your GoFundMe page still active? I want to donate some money as well. So that,
yeah, it is, mate. Yeah. So if you go onto my Instagram page, and anyone else who's listening can do the same. You can go on my Instagram page at the Scouse Runner, and the link's in the bio. So you just click on the link, and it takes you straight to the GoFundMe page. I mean, even if you want to share the page, or you want to just read the story of why I've done it, it's a bit more detailed of, you know, the reason why I set it up and stuff like that. That'd be amazing, be incredible. The donations are still coming in. It's phenomenal. We've got some cash donations that I still need to put in. So overall, we're sitting on about £6,800.
Wow, awesome.
Which obviously is getting split in half, and hopefully will help the both charities.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I hope this podcast, you know, gets out to some of my, you know, I got a bit of a Welsh following down here, as you can imagine. So hopefully that will you get some more money from my listeners and stuff. But yeah, your Instagram's at Scouse Runner, is it? I'll tag you in the bio, but at Scouse Runner? Yeah.
At the Scouse Runner, yeah.
At the Scouse Runner. There we are. Beautiful. But awesome, Dave. Appreciate that, mate. It's awesome. And yeah, looking forward to see what, you know, keep following you on Instagram. Because every day I see you put your post up, and
yeah,
I'll be keeping an eye on those times now, because now I know your challenge.
Yeah. Hopefully I can deliver.
Beautiful. And also, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, the CD Sport Podcast. And I'm also on Instagram, the CD Sport Podcast. So spread the word on that one. Spread the love. Thank you, Dave.
Oh, no problem, mate. Anytime.
The Scouse Runner, David Fitzgerald, everybody. You.